Push was good. Solo was good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jig, what up? Big Sugar. CJ, what up? Good to see y'all pulling up. Sometimes, not every time, but sometimes I'm tempted to just like kick it in the room, just open the room up and just let y'all congregate. Just let y'all fellowship. Currently on an Amtrak going to Baltimore, so this is a nice little change of pace. Oh shit, CJ. All right, bro. Travel safe, King. Be King. And travel safe and stay safe. You're going to Baltimore. Please be safe. Chris Wilson, what up? What's good, good people? See how we all pull up in this room? Just with the family vibe being what it is. Can't get that too many other places, I'm telling you. They don't do it like we do it. They just don't. They can't do it the way we do it, bro. It don't happen in these other spaces the way it happens in here. Please believe it. Okay, before I get into all that, brothers and sisters, mothers and misters, bunions and blisters, I would like to welcome you to the garage, home to the worldwide mechanics. I'm your lead mechanic, Mike Rashawn. Before we even get it popping, do me a favor. Hit the hype, hit the like, hit the subs. That's the fastest way to show your boy love. In the meantime, in between time, get on in here, get your tool belt, get your cover rolls. Let's get this thing on the rack and see where we at. Chaz, blessed. Blessed as fuck. Everything on the incline. That's how I'm doing. Um, I'd be doing better. I'd be doing better if I didn't watch that. If I didn't watch that Pooh Shiesty video with his crew surrounding Gucci and you know pulling guns. Listen to it, CJ. Listen to it. Listen, CJ. Listen to her. She's big sis in the chat. Just listen. Just listen to her. It won't cost you nothing to listen. Just listen to her and leave it where it is. Help me to help you, bro. Just let it be what it is. Yes, young cats, bro. Check this out. I had this little epiphany earlier on today after I watched the video. All I could think to myself was, this is what happens when the new dudes are cut off from OG wisdom. Dead ass. This what we're looking at. That's why I named this session, you know, your feelings, basically the streets versus the law. This is what happens. This what you're looking at is the influence of the streets on the youth, as opposed to the influence that we had over the youth. Now, when I was a shorty, being dumb was something that you did not want to be. You did not want to be the dumbest person in the room. Not yeah, but he's a product of that too, bro. Follow me, push. He's a product of that too. I haven't even looked up how old he is, but he's a product of that too. Um, Fatima, what up? Peace, peace. From Brooklyn, salute. Thank you for pulling up. Hopefully, you're a subscriber, become a mechanic. If you're not, check this out though. There was a time when the music influence the youth directly to be educated, to gain wisdom, to to never want to be the person in the room who didn't know what was happening directly. And if you look at, you can look at the era that I'm talking about, between Brand Nubian, between Public Enemy, between, like, there was a whole era where black medallions and knowledge of self and self-determination and you know, strength, courage, wisdom. It was what we wanted. KRS-One, that Dwayne, I could never forget KRS-One. A lot of people will tell you he was the father of a lot of this, the edutainment, and he was heavy on that. There was a time when being dumb was not it. It was not it. The whole native tongue movement, of course, the whole native tongue movement. There was a time when being dumb was not it. Ignorance was the enemy. You wanted to know more. You wanted to learn more. If they said a word in a rhyme that you didn't know, you didn't chastise the MC for using that word. You went back and looked it up. You didn't blame him for using big words. You took note. You went down. You looked it up, so you knew what they were talking about. Your comprehension skills probably told you, you know, what the substance of the word was. But you went back and looked it up, so you knew what was happening. Nobody wanted to be the dumb person in the room. And this was directly artist influence. And I'm talking about a time when, you know, A Different World was on television, had all my homies wanting to go to college. My big homies was college bound off the strength of watching A Different World. And the music was pushing you to fight the power and telling you who the real op was pointing fingers at these folks who did not want well for us. If that same era had not been slandered, purposefully pushed away from the youth, had that era not been called old, irrelevant, corny, y'all are irrelevant now, y'all, you know, had we not had that resentment for the youth for what they thought was, you know, a negative form of gatekeeping, had we actually really used it, really had the opportunity to influence the youth, we wouldn't have just taught, they wouldn't have, the youth wouldn't have just been taught about, you know, knowledge of self and all that other good stuff that came with those lessons, and, you know, studying and all this other good stuff. Never forget, as much as people want to clown on the 5% nation, never forget that to be 5%, you had to study those lessons. They had brothers reading, writing, really committing these things to memory. They have brothers actually doing homework, real homework. Like the amount of lessons are ridiculous. You had to study and learn all those. It was crazy. Imagine that area. Imagine that era, excuse me, that era allowed to influence the youth. The youth now studies their contracts before they sign them. The youth now has direct access and a direct line and a direct relationship with the artists who have already been through really, really bad contracts. Imagine that. Fast forward to today, you have Pooh Shiesty, whose influence is the streets. So how does he look to get out of a bad contract? The only way he knows. The only way he knows how. The streets. The streets told him how to do it. He doesn't know terms like duress. He doesn't understand what kidnapping really means. Hindering. He doesn't understand what you know, extort, like all these other good legal terms that his actions line him directly up with. And he's in charge. He's the one. He's in charge. Believe you, his father definitely should have had, but I don't think his father, I don't age doesn't equal wisdom. Age doesn't equal experience. I don't know how old this, you know what? Instead of me just guessing. How about I just go look? How about I just go look? And yes, he should have been able to go to his dad for better, which is what makes this whole thing so heinous for most of the people in the group chats that I'm in the circles I'm in. Most of the folks who are what makes this so over the top is the fact that the source of wisdom that's supposed to be in this young man's life was actually just as down as he was. Okay, he's 50. He's 50. Definitely too old for this. I mean, he was too old for this regardless, but 100% too old for this. You dig what I mean? 100% too old, and he's well entrenched in the era. But judging by how he's getting down, he strikes me, and just by his actions, I don't know the man, but he strikes me as one of the people when Public Enemy was doing their thing. It was you trying to kick knowledge. He was probably one of them dudes. He was probably one of the dudes who didn't want a hard head make a soft ass. He's probably been this way his whole run, the whole 50. He's probably been this way. And it's terrible. It's terrible. Don't get me wrong. But had that influence been allowed to flourish as opposed to being purposefully suppressed, because you can't make me believe that this wasn't intentional. Yeah, he's 50, bro. I'm just I according to Google, according to AI, he's 50. AKA way too old for that shit. Way too old for what he was doing and how he was doing it. But this is what happens when you don't know no better. You do the only thing that you know. This is what happens when street dudes whose entire value system, whose entire knowledge base is only the streets. See, I know tons of street dudes, like tons of street dudes. But the streets are only the place where they make their income. It has nothing to do with their intelligence level. It has nothing to do with their common sense. It has it only slightly affects their morals. Most of the guys I'm talking about, they're doing this until this is not, the streets is all I know. Like they're not on that kind of wave. If they were, I doubt we'd be cool. I doubt we'd be associated at all. But like the dudes I know, it's a means to an end. They're looking to get out the paint. They're not on some this is all I know. And the music rarely shows the transition. It rarely shows where you go from the streets to something else, to anything else. Just exit the streets cleanly. The movies don't show you that. The music doesn't broadcast that. Gucci never told you exactly when he left the streets alone. I don't, and I could be wrong. I don't know the man's catalog back and forth to tell you, but the advertisement that he left the streets alone needed to be just as loud as the advertisement that he was in the streets and of the streets and for the streets. Dwayne, shout out for the gold coins. Thank you. Much respect. Thank you for the gold coins. Um, had KRS-One, had that influence been allowed to flourish, because there were more after them. It's not like it just stopped at KRS-One and Public Enemy. Dead Prez was around. Believe it or not, Saigon was talking that. Like there were plenty of people who were outside really leaning into, bro, the streets ain't it. But then I think somewhere along the line, the message got muddled. Like it was one thing, it was like, the streets ain't it, this is it. Then it turned into, I don't know what is it, but I know the streets ain't it. And then it turned into, The streets, you do what you got to do, and then it turned into, I love the streets. We are the streets. I'm for the streets, fam. Exactly. Like Goody, see, it didn't take long. It didn't take long. There was always some element of that in hip hop. Somebody trying to teach, and somebody trying to, and then we got to the point where we decided that the masses decided that education wasn't entertaining, and here we are. Because what is entertaining is self-destruction, not self-education, self-destruction. One takes work and discipline. The other one just takes your natural impulses with no kind of impulse control whatsoever. Just your natural vibe with no kind. What I saw when I watched that video was a bunch of dudes following their natural impulse, fueled by anger. DJ, you're an idiot. I have skateboarded, but what does that have to do with what we're talking about, you dummy? And why you on my skateboard's dick? Like, we not even talking about that. If I did have them just for decoration, what does that have to do with you? And what does that have to do with what we're discussing? I'm trying to tell you again. I will say it. I've said it before. I will say it again. Sarah, I'm gonna let you live because that was a compliment. So I'm gonna let you live. Thank you for the compliment. DJ, just know hating is a low IQ activity, and dumb jokes in the middle of a real conversation is something that idiots do. Like, that's super immature thing to do. We in the middle of a real conversation and you break out with something stupid. Dummy. Dummy. Man, you just got to meet Big Sugar. Like, super dumb. Push, push, I'm dropping a pin today. Pin drop to that. This ain't this ain't the kids' table. This ain't the kids' table. You need to keep that at the kids' table. This ain't the kids' table. We don't do that here. This ain't the kids' table. Grow up. Jumping in here to throw a random insult in the middle of this conversation, a low IQ insult at that. This ain't the kids' table, bro. Take that someplace else. We grown in here. We're grown in here. We drink water and mind our business in here. Killer Priest, fam, you got a nice list going. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. We had a system in place. Had these people that we're discussing on these lists been able to prosper, like really flourish and become, because the talent wasn't a problem. It wasn't that they weren't talented. The message, all of a sudden became passe, cliche. All of a sudden, people started making fun. Hotep and all this other. We had a lot of other slander for dudes who were legit trying to do better. All of a sudden, the dude in Menace to Society, the one brother who was trying to keep everybody from drinking 40s, trying to make it sure everybody's head was straight, whose father was an educator trying to help people, all of a sudden he became the cornball that they made fun of. But he loved them all, and he was trying to hold it down, and he was always trying to do the right thing. But he became the cornball. He wasn't it. He wasn't the popular one. Old Dog became the popular one, but Old Dog went to prison, committed a bunch of murders, and then went to prison over words. Kane ended up dead over impulse because he didn't keep his hands to himself, because he didn't de-escalate the situation. Granted, that wouldn't have made for a very entertaining movie, but this was a super popular movie. And it was just the sign of the times. I'm not even blaming the movie, but it was legitimately the sign of the times. And people learned to solve their issues with guns and violence. And I look at Pooh Shiesty as a product. He's a child of that time. Shout out to Push Button Producer, $5 super chat. Rakim moved in them streets. That BS never made it to his art and he flourished. Bro, that's a fact. That's a fact. And anybody who tells you anything different is lying. That's a pure fact. Pure fact. Tupac got into it. Yeah. Okay, Tupac got into it partially with the Hughes brothers because they wanted him to play Sharif, but he wanted the character's arc to be more fleshed out. Bro, I look at that Pooh Shiesty video. First of all, you recorded it. First of all, you got it on camera. You recorded it, and you recorded your man with the gun out. Like somebody should have told you not to do that. Somebody in the room should have said, "Don't get this part on camera." And then there's this little thing called duress. He did it under duress. It's not legally binding. Like, but somebody should have thought to tell you that. There should have been somebody in your cipher who knew that and knew to get you out of the paint with that. There should have been somebody should have said something. And it's easy to blame the pop because you're the adult. You're the voice. You're supposed to be the voice of wisdom, the voice of reason. How is it that you led these boys down or you allowed these boys to go down this path? You didn't know nothing. You didn't look up nothing. That's a failure as a parent. You failed. You sliding with your kids. You have failed as a parent. Sorry, not sorry. You have absolutely failed and flunked as a parent. Roger, it's I hear you, Roger. It's not necessarily me feeling sorry for them, but the observation is the observation nonetheless. I look at their actions and it's yeah, okay. That's what it is. That's what we get. These are street dudes trying to solve their legal issues the only way they know how. They take it to the streets, and they expected Gucci to respect that way because he claims that way. They expected him to do to honor their methods, pulling guns, say it on camera that we drop, say it or spell it out, say it that we drop, getting people on camera. You got the dude on the camera with the Draco out, like say it on camera that we did, bro. That's not legally binding. That didn't help you. That didn't do nothing for you. Ankle monitors, they tracked every direction these dudes went to. Nobody thought this through. And I gotta be honest, there was a time when the music would have walked you through that. Like, imagine every artist that got jerked was never put out to pasture, was never ostracized from the music industry, not the hip hop community, but the music industry. Imagine he wasn't made to be looked at as washed by the younger generation coming in. And imagine that dude or those dudes with access to the ears of the youth and they're walking them through the loopholes and the pitfalls in the contract, able to tell them exactly where it went wrong, exactly what they did wrong, and how it could have been avoided. If you imagine songs about that up and coming artists can actually listen to as reference points. Imagine they go in their contract and they look for this word specifically because a dude made a song about it, and then another dude made a song about it, and then another dude made a song about it. So now they're looking for how not to get got. And your comprehension skills is up. So you imagine that. Imagine you learn another way to solve your problems outside of guns and violence, outside of the streets. Imagine you learn new methods to get past legal ramifications to the point where you don't even get into the issues in the first place because you know what to look for. Because you can call a Master P, you have him on speed dial, and he picks up the phone and walks through your contract with you. Or you have a KRS-One who you have on speed dial, who you can call, who sits down and walks through your contract with you. You have a Big Daddy Kane, you have a Rakim, you have everybody who's ever gotten into it and had issues. You can sit down with them and walk through a contract. B, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. And you know what I'm talking about. You're asking me if I'm Jewish. Why? What does that have to do with what I'm discussing? And I really want you to answer. The Dodge coin, 7515. I really want you to answer. Why did you ask me that? What is that? What does that have to do with what we're discussing? Please. I'll wait. Y'all keep going. Y'all, we're having a conversation, but I really want to know. I'm dead serious. You have the floor. Again, what does that have to do with what I'm discussing? I saw your answer. You haven't answered the question. What does that have to do with what I'm discussing? Too late. Too late. Super stupid. Oh God, so stupid. Or you're a bot. So dumb. So dumb. During the 50th anniversary of hip hop, us educators in NY did lessons used the older art. Fatima, no wonder. No wonder your list is what it is when we start talking about this thing. No wonder. I agree, but Gucci signed it before video. My question is, did they threaten him when he signed the contract? Lil Red, um, it's not anti, but I'm going to tell you why your question doesn't matter. If he says what we have on video is him in the presence of armed men, all he needs to that's duress, bro. You signed it under whatever you signed does not count. You signed it under duress. A gun to your head on camera. It's one thing if you could at least say, "Hey, there wasn't no. Hey, we never had guns." Yo, they filmed it, bro. They filmed it. Conversation over. Conversation over. It doesn't matter what he signed. It doesn't matter when he signed it. If he can say that there were guns present, that armed men were there when it happened, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter when he did it. Doesn't matter. And again, not on you. Please don't take this the wrong way. But even that way of thinking, even that thought process, it's only because you just don't know that doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? If something now that you know, you'll never you know better, you do better. Somebody put you on, now you'll never make that mistake again. You'll never ask that question again because you get it. You see what I'm saying? Like as soon as you get it, you got it. And it's up. Had someone told them that, hopefully they wouldn't have ignored it. But the streets teach you to ignore too much smart shit. And there's no telling had if they would have kept it, if they would have retained that information. And we need them to. You dig what I mean? I hate that I had to watch that. I hate what I saw in that video, bro. I hate that. I hate it. Chaz filming it seriously blows my mind. Bro, attention is the new currency. Here's the wild part. Here's the wild part. I don't even think they thought it was for clout. I think the idea was get him on camera saying it so it's legally binding. I think that's what they actually thought. I think they were under the impression that that was legally binding. This is what happens when it's, the streets versus the law. You think making him say it on camera is the same as a legally binding contract? Sad, man. Sad, because somebody should have known better than that. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on now. Wait a minute. What's happening? Just saw somebody say, I'm sorry. Oh, Just is here. Hey, Just. Oh, Tiffany Blue's here too. Hey, Tiff. Good to see you. Yo, Gotti should have intervened. A 50-50 deal between CMG slash 1017 was the compromise all sides needed. But you don't think about that when you're not thinking about negotiating in the first place. And some of these dudes don't negotiate in good faith. Some of these dudes don't negotiate in good faith. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything. There's Just popping in. Hey, Just, good to see you. Good to see you. Glad everything's okay. Good to hear from you. Lil Red, no problem. No problem. That's what we doing here. No problem. Never You never have to thank me for doing what I'm supposed to do. What did I just miss? I think I just saw Gucci was 100% not letting him out of that contract. That at least not like that. Not like that. He wasn't letting him out of that. He wasn't letting him out of that. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. That wasn't gonna do it. That wasn't gonna get him out. It's super stupid. Like that, and again, not dumb. I don't want to say dumb, but ignorant. Ignorant. You expect Gucci to honor the streets. They handled it the way the streets do. Uh Tog fan op. He Gucci is on camera. The video came out of Pooh Shiesty. I don't know if you've seen it already. The video came out of Pooh Shiesty and company surrounding Gucci and basically getting him to say that he's dropping Pooh Shiesty from the label, but they're on camera with guns out. The video just came out, I think yesterday. Sorry, I've been gone. My boyfriend passed away Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Oh, just and that's what I went back to look for. I saw people wishing you condolences, but I didn't see what you had written. I was in the middle of ranting. That's terrible. That's terrible, darling. One time for the bro. One time. God bless. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Just he pursued me for 3 years. I finally gave him Friday. We started dating and he passed away. Ah, I'm really sorry to hear that. That's awful. God bless him. Yeah, condolences to Just. She's one of us in here. She's family. I hate to hear it. I hate to hear it. Hold your head, darling. Hold your head, please. Um, yeah, no, I know, I know. Hold your head. Hold your head. Y'all, you got some time. You had some time. I'll tell you something. Um, my grandmother, my father's mother, put me on to something that helped me out a lot. When somebody would pass away, and it's like, you think you're gonna miss them, and I'd say, yeah. She said, no, you won't. And I said, what you mean? I miss them. She said, you didn't miss them. You got to see them. You got to hug them. You got to kiss them. You got to tell them how you felt about them. You got to experience what it was like being around them. The people who miss them, the people who miss that person that passed away, are the people who God never saw fit to be in that person's presence. They're the ones who missed them. The people who go through this whole life never meeting that person that you love that passed away that was so special you'll never forget him. You got to experience him. You didn't miss him. You were actually privileged to have that person in your life, even if it wasn't for as long as we want. You at least you had him. The people who miss him, that's us in this room. We never got to meet your boyfriend. We never got to chop it up with him, have a drink with him, kick it at the spot with him, have any kind of conversation with him. You got to do all of the above. We missed him. We missed him. You got him. Remember that. Just keep that with you. Keep that with you. It's helped me. Of all the billions of people on this planet, the fact that you get to run into somebody specific, somebody special, you get to kick it with that person. You actually get to sit down and say, I knew them, I know them, I know what they were like. I know what it sounds like when they laugh. I've seen them happy. I know what kind of food they like. Bro, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. I lost my father in 2014. I wish he was here, but I'm not the one who misses him. I still have those memories. I hear his voice in my head every time I pass one of y'all his gyms. I have my father. The people who miss him are the people who never got to meet him, which is sucks for them because my pops was something different. He and his son went out weekly for father-son drink. Everybody was at the bar celebrating his home going on Monday. He's a pretty popular dude. Everywhere I go, I just hear somebody mentioning his name or something. That he was that guy. Just I would think he was probably pretty special. If you picked him, I expected him to be that guy. You picked him. What you think? Yeah, he was that dude. You picked him. Come on now. What you thinking? You picked that dude. Yeah, I expect everybody to be walking around talking about him. So yeah, again, we all missed him. You had him, and you still have him. Just remember that. You're gonna be hearing stories. You still have him. When take your time, grieve, mourn, make your peace with it. But just remember, you had that. You got him. We missed him. You got him. Just remember that. I'd rather talk this than Pooh. I mean, my and I'm a hey, listen, I'm with the people. Whatever my people want to do, I'm with, especially in this room. My thing on Pooh Shiesty is I'm witnessing the youth. I'm witnessing the fruits of the streets, and which is witnessing the fruits of the labor. This is what we got. This is how it ends up. 50-year-old sitting right there, and this is where we are. But if you'd rather talk about if you he said no, I'm just bugging. I've fought against dating this dude for the longest. All right, but don't look back and regret. You dated him. You had some time, and you had the time you were meant to have, and he's had the impact he was meant to have. Don't look back on it. Don't do that to yourself because you can't reverse it. Don't do that. Whoa, no, Chaz, I missed that. I missed that. Let me spin it back. Oh, that's Chaz. That's yeah, but you still know your moms. My mom's passed in '94. I was 14. I can't even remember her voice. Her presence, bro. Her presence. Voices change. Presence don't. Voices change. I don't sound the way I did when I was 14. I don't sound the way I did when I was in '94. Voices change, bro. Presence don't. You see that woman every time you look in the mirror. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget that. That woman is in your face. I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better. Little gem I picked up. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I'm not even positive that this is all the way true, right? Before I even tell it, before I even say it, I'm not even positive this is true, but it sounds good. And it makes me feel better when I think about it. You ready? Check this out. Chaz, this is for you specifically. When we hold our hands, I don't know if you know this, but your fingerprints, which are super unique to every individual, like one of the most unique factors. Um, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but you get your fingerprints. You get your fingerprints from pressing your hand against the inside of your mom's womb when you're in there. That's where your hands form fingerprints. You touching stuff, so that's why it's all unique. So if you really want to look at your mom's, look at your fingerprints. Look at your fingers. I'm not even sure that's all the way true. I've never looked it up just because I don't want to hear that it's not true. Dead ass. Dead. I could have looked at it. Chaz, I'm I've never researched it because I don't want to find out that that's not true. It sounds good, and I'm running with it. I There she is, right there. Fingerprints, super unique. You get your fingerprints from pressing on it. That's where your fingerprints come from. So if you think I don't have any pictures of you don't have any pictures of your mother, not true, not true. Look at your hands. There she is. The inside. There she is. There she is. And there's no way you don't. Your body remembers her. Her presence is there. You're maybe the memory is slipping. Your body hasn't forgotten. Her presence is right there. Take that with you. Take that with you. Because they don't teach us how to lose parents. Nobody teaches you that. How to cope with losing a parent. No, nobody ever. They don't teach you what happens when you start losing people. And as natural as that is in this world, nobody shows you what to do or how to deal with the fact that this is happening. Condolences, condolences, sugar, condolences, sugar. Yeah, I mean we should, but for the same reason, it's easy to see why we don't. Like, who wants to face that? Who wants to face that? Who wants to deal with that? Chaz, you good, bro. Don't sweat none of it. You good. Just again, everybody hold your head. It's rough out here for all of us. Everybody's going through something. Hit the likes, hit the subs. I see you, B. Hit the likes, hit the subs, please and thank you. Everybody's going through something. We all got stuff we got to deal with, and so little of it is self inflicted. Oh, Dwayne, that's rough. That's rough. Sorry to hear that. Condolences to the room. If that's what this session is turned into, I'm cool. I'm cool. You know, family ties, the ties that bond. We here, bro. Like, but it's one of the reasons why we don't really need the beef. It's one of the reasons why like beefing is so corny to me because we all got way more in common than don't. What binds us is way stronger and way more common than what divides us. We all dealing with something. Crazy. Crazy. We all dealing with something. It's just a matter of how you deal with it. My problem, my problem is wrath. I have a real issue with wrath. It's something that I need to, it's something that I've been trying to cope with for decades. But when I lose somebody, I have a tendency to rage. Not a good look for a grown man. Right. I stay in the house. I stay away from people. I don't open the door for some dumbass to just walk through, saying something slick or saying something stupid, or saying something completely benign that I'm taking the wrong way because I'm not in a good space. My problem is wrath. My problem is I am not I am not solid when I'm dealing with the loss of somebody. I lost an aunt a little while ago. One of my favorite people in the world. I stayed away from everybody. I stayed away from the world. I didn't take calls. I blew through meetings, pushed it off to this person and that person. I was not the person to talk to. Not in a good space. Everything seemed pointless when you lose somebody that you really care about. But then it takes me some time, but you got to remember that's not what that person wants. They don't want you like that. Oh, that's big. That's rough. That's rough. Parents, my ex who I was cool with, and my dog within a 5 year span. That's rough. You were tested. No question you were tested. No question. Yeah, we definitely do more different. But it's our reactions. It's not the situations. It's our reactions. Put me in the situation with that Pooh Shiesty is in, just to bring it back full circle. Put grief can grow. It doesn't stay still. You know what I mean, grief. Tiff. I'm hearing you, Miss Blue. Grief definitely is forever, but it grows. It changes, and you get stronger. You know what I mean? It doesn't stay in that same. It doesn't give you that same you know hole in your heart that you had. You become stronger. You learn to rock with it. It builds character. Turns you into who you're gonna be. The acceptance turns you into who you're gonna be. You got to remember the people who passed don't want you effed up. If you cared about them like that, they don't want you effed up. They don't want you on tilt like that. They don't. I have to remember, yo, bro, going to jail is not what your father would have wanted. It's not what your aunt would have wanted. Blacking out and breaking somebody's jaw, like what does that do for anything? That's not what anybody would have wanted. Believe it or not, Pooh Shiesty's dad doesn't want this for him. That's what tells me that this was the only way. They really thought this was gonna work because there's no way you can tell me he wanted his son to go to prison or he wanted to get locked up. You see what I'm saying? That's why I look at it the way I do. Is they did not want it this way, but here we are. Lack of knowledge. This is what it comes to. When my mom passed, our birthdays 2 days apart. I went to Vegas to wild out for both of us. I go back every year to celebrate two great Aries. Oh, one time, one time, one time for the queen. Push. One time for the queen. B. One time for the king and queen and the pooch and the ex. One time. Straight up. The apple don't fall far from the tree. The blind leading the blind, and everyone involved knew Shiesty was on some crash out dummy mission. No excuses. Alabama Dread Boy, I hear you. Chaz, salute making the chat. I'm off to visit my knucklehead son in juvie. Tell him to hold his head, Chaz. Sorry to hear that, man. But, you know, he's alive. He's got a chance to do it better. Alabama, I hear you. But it's not an excuse. There's a difference between an excuse and a reason. There you go, Push. Good man. There's a difference between an excuse and a reason. I hear that a lot. Like, you know, no excuses. It's not an excuse, but there's a reason behind it. Right? Some of them are good reasons, some of them are bad reasons, but there's a reason. And you know, from here, I like to kind of go over the reasons on some preventative shit. You know, we can do something about that moving forward. I hope people see it as a lesson. I hope this doesn't become popular. I hope the youth look at this and see that it did not work. It did not work because they're all results oriented. Okay, pulling the gun on the guy who has your contract is not going to get you out of your contract. It's just going to get you locked up. Okay, now maybe now that we've got, you know, bad negotiating 101 on the table, I hope they walk away from that. Shiesty had too much noise, and this was about another CEO trying to take money out of Gucci pocket. Gotti led both of them wrong. I'm just being honest. Yeah, I mean, I'm not Dread. I'm not disagreeing with you. My pops had a something he used to tell me though. When the results don't change, the why is irrelevant. Let that sink in for a second. You're giving me the why, and I completely get the why, but the results are what they are. I would just never understand the cameras in this generation. Our OGs will put belt to ass for bringing cameras around anything. Yeah, but po- popularity is, you know, again, attention is the new currency, bro. There's no way around it. They want credit and they want clicks and they want clout, credit, clicks, and clout for everything they do. And these phones have turned all of us into our own aspiring, self-aspiring emperor. They've made everybody the star of their own reality show. And some of these shows have terrible scripts, terribly written shows. And there's no getting around it. There's no getting around it. And now we just have to deal with it because I don't think we can go backwards from here. I think now it's just a matter of who's on the camera. I think it's just a matter of who's on camera. We because I don't see how we reverse this anymore. Like you'd have to EMP the planet to get rid of where we are now, to get people off their phones like this. I think I broke my finger. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess, folks. It's a mess. But we've been on for way longer than I meant to be. But I enjoyed what we managed to get out of it as we chop it up. Um, I can see the feds playing chess. You can't bet it's more than the phone. That yeah, bro. Here's the problem. What they have is enough. Even if there's more in the phone, what they have right now is more than enough. It's enough. And one person who does not one entity that does not miss the opportunity to set an example is the U.S. government. So with that said, something to ponder on. We will be back. I'm gonna let y'all go for your evening. Enjoy the rest of your night. I have a ton of footage that I have to finish watching. Brothers and sisters, mothers and misters, bunions and blisters. This has been the garage, home to the worldwide mechanics. I'm the lead mechanic, Mike Rashawn. I want to thank y'all for pulling up with me. Be sure to check out the Mech and Gat show. The link is all up in here. Thanks to B74. Shout out to Big Sugar. One time for all the mechanics who pulled up. Yes, we had great conversations. Again, rest in peace to everybody who's who's passed away in strength. Peace and grace to everyone who's dealing with a loss. Just I'm looking at you. Um, Y'all be safe. Y'all be cool. Hit that alarm bell so you can pull up with me. I should be here around 5 o'clock tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Um, Again, thank y'all for pulling up. Greatly appreciated. Uh, Hang up your coveralls. Hang up your tool belt. Let's get this thing off the rack and see where we at. Free therapy. We in the building. Hopefully I see everybody tomorrow. Y'all be safe. Y'all be cool. The garage is now officially